I'm Logan Tinsley, and my video is about the physics concepts in volleyball. The physics concepts of projectile motion, collisions, and momentum are used heavily in the game of volleyball. Starting off with projectile motion, the ball used to play volleyball is always the projectile being used. Every time the volleyball is hit, the projectile has a change in velocity and path of motion. For example, a serve in volleyball can range in anywhere from 26 to 65 miles per hour. The velocity of the ball when it leaves the server's hand influences the path of motion which the ball follows, and the final velocity it reaches when it gets over the net and the other team has to pass the ball. The higher range of velocity, from 45 to 65 miles per hour, is reached on jump serves, and the time it takes to reach the other team's passers is very quick. The ball doesn't have as much arc on the path of motion, and the ball just reaches over the net because of how fast the ball is going and because the server has to make sure the ball stays inside the court. On float and jump float serves, the arc and path of motion of the ball can be higher, as the ball doesn't have as high of a velocity, but the ball is able to float because the ball has no spin and is going against air resistance. The concept of collisions is also heavily used in volleyball, as there is a collision on every pass and dig in volleyball. For example, when one team has a hitting attempt, pushing the ball to the other side of the court is the other team's job to create a collision with the ball to keep it up in the air if the ball isn't going outside of the court. In the sport of volleyball, collisions with the ball and a person's arm or arms are elastic, and the rebounding velocity of the ball after the collision usually depends on the speed of the hit. To create a collision with the ball on the volleyball court, the bump is used most of the time when a player holds their arms out together in the middle of their body to contact the ball. Another form of collision in the game of volleyball is the block, where one or more players goes up at the net with their arms straight and their hands wide to try to block the ball when another player is hitting it. In volleyball, the volleyball weighs around 0.6 pounds, and the velocity of the ball dictates the outcome of the collision with another player's arms, legs, or even their head, as shown in multiple videos. Finally, the concept of forces is heavily used in the game of volleyball, including gravity and the force of contact with the ball. Whenever the ball is contacted, the person is exerting a specific force on the ball. For instance, a person deals a larger amount of force when they are hitting or serving the ball to get the ball to the ground, compared to when a person is passing the ball or blocking a ball because a force has already been exerted on the ball when they are going to pass or block. The force of gravity is also used, mostly on serves and sometimes when hitting. When serving, a person uses gravity to their advantage with a jump serve, as they create topspin on the ball to go with gravity to make the ball reach the floor faster. Gravity is also used on float serves to get to the ball to the ground, but the ball is much easier to pass when the ball is served higher in the air with less velocity because gravity doesn't provide enough of a force to make it hard to pass like the force exerted on a jump serve.